Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Snail Shell Studio's bunny girl Aileen. Snail Shell Studio is a Chinese studio mainly focusing on original characters in 1/12th scale. From what I've seen, their figures are of pretty good quality, so let's jump right into it. Taking a look at the box, on the front there's a window where you can see the actual figure itself, as well as an image of the figure printed on the box. The box has a matte finish, and the images are smooth and kind of glossy. There are also some logos in a metallic finish. Overall, it looks quite good and feels quite premium. At the back, there's another large figure shot, as well as an illustration of what's included. Here's the top of the box, the left side, the right side, and the bottom. So actually, I've had this figure since it released back in July, and have already taken her out of the box. However, for the purposes of this video, I've put her back, and let's just pretend she's new. Similar to most figures, Aileen comes in a plastic protective tray, and we can see everything that's included. On both sides, there's a sticker which essentially tells you if the figure is new and unopened. If the word void appears, that means it has been opened. There's also a few cards with some info on different things, such as their future figures, as well as a bike which also released with Aileen. However, I wasn't too interested in this, and so I didn't pick her up. Looking at the figure itself, she has quite a simple design, akin to your stereotypical bunny girl. Her skin has a kind of matte finish, which gives it a nice soft look. Despite being quite a simple figure, it does feel good in the hand and by no means feels cheap. The paint on the outfit is nice and neat, and I would say it's quite detailed in that there is some shading on the bodysuit to accentuate certain details in areas of her body. There's also some shading on the skin around her thigh straps and near the middle of her back, which makes things pop out a bit more and adds to the overall look and aesthetic. She also has a fluffy bunny tail with a hole where you can plug the stand into. Beneath her white heels are red soles. Unfortunately, out of the box there was a bit of scuff with the white paint on my figure, as you can see on the front of her hair, as well as her ears. For accessories, this is what we have. 4 pairs of additional hands, meaning 5 pairs total, or 10 hands. For different hands, we have the default V or peace hands. We have neutral open kind of grabby hands. We have pointy holdy hands for holding small objects, such as the phone and the gun. Another holding hand for holding other things, such as the stick and weapons. And the phone again. And lastly, we have the plain pointing hands. It's kind of strange she doesn't actually have a pair of relaxed hands, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. Now, do be careful when changing the hands, because they can be quite stiff on the joint. They may also pull apart like this. I'm not sure if this is an issue with my figure or a skill issue on my part. What I did end up doing was I used a blow dryer and heat up the joints a little bit before trying to pull them out. If you are going to be playing around with the figure or taking some pictures with different hands, I suggest not pushing the hand in all the way, unless you want to constantly heat up your figure. A little tip is that you can use the cuff to cover up the joint a little bit, and you can also turn the cuff around, which makes it a bit easier to cover the joint. She has an alternate faceplate where she's winking and sticking her tongue out, a bit of a cheeky look. This can be changed by pulling out the front hair carefully and replacing the faceplate. One thing I think most Snail Shell figures have is articulated eyes. You can use this stick and stick it into the back of the faceplate and move the eyes in whichever direction you want. It's a cool inclusion, but sometimes it can be hard to get the eyes to look in the same direction. But the option is there and does make for a variety of different looks. It's interesting how much of a difference eye angle can make to a pose. As we saw earlier, there's a gun, a phone, and there's also a fluffy tail without the hole, in case you want to display her in different angles. And there's a stand with the Snail Shell Studio logo, with the option of using either a plug or a clamp to hold her up. Finally, there are 2 extra wrist joints in case they break, because as we saw earlier, the hands can be quite hard to change. For articulation, her head turns all the way around. She can look up and down. Her head tilts. And her ponytail swivels. Her arms move like this. There's a well-hidden bicep swivel. She has double-jointed elbows and a good range of motion. Her wrist joints are at a kind of weird angle. Sometimes her cuffs can get in the way. Make sure they're as far up on the wrist as they can be so they don't block the movement. Of course, they are separate, so they rotate too. Her torso moves back and forth like this. Tilts side to side. However, rotation is limited. She kicks up about this much, and back this much normally. She can do the splits as well. If you work with her legs a little bit, she can kick all the way up. Which looks okay from the front, but won't look good from the back. She also has a thigh swivel hidden by her thigh straps. She has double jointed knees as well. Her ankles move like this. And depending on the angle, you can treat it as a tilt. Overall, articulation is good due to the minimal style and design. The joints feel sturdy and tight, but not to the point of being uncomfortable. Besides the wrist joints, of course. Now, does she balance? Aileen does have quite small feet and heels as well, but surprisingly she has quite good balance provided that you pose her well and don't bump into whatever you have her standing on. It does help that she's quite a simple figure and doesn't have many bits and pieces which may affect her balance. I've had her standing on my desk for about a month now, and I don't think she's been the cause of any topples, even through daily bumps and nudges. If you have her displayed on a shelf or something, then I think she should have no issues standing on her own. Aileen is marketed as a 1/12 scale figure, and stands at about 15.5 centimeters tall to the top of the head, or 17 centimeters to the top of her ear, the taller ear. In full scale, this would make her about 186 centimeters tall, or 6'1". Her heels are about 1 centimeter tall, or 12 centimeters in full scale, which is just shy of 5 inches, meaning she would be about 174 centimeters tall, or about 5'9". Anyway, here she is next to Mika Jokisaki, Chiaki, Ichi Another, SHF Chun-Li, Nikkei stands, and Gacha Mem. Overall, Aileen is a good figure, especially for the price. She retails on the cheaper side for about 5,000 yen, or around $35 US. She is quite minimalistic and doesn't really come with much, however, she is still a nice figure to have. She does also provide some kit bash potential if you wanted a casino or bunny girl outfit on another character. This would mainly work on larger figures or model kits. Most Figma or SHF heads would feel a bit too small. What are your thoughts on the bunny girl? Is she too simple? Just right? Have you had experience with any other Snail Shell figures? Do let me know down below. Anyway, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a like and subscribe is always appreciated. Take care, have a good one, and I hope to see you again next time.